Hi, it's Bob Fossil here again with another video showing off some of the features I've been working on my long file name browser for Exydos and the ZX Uno. At the time of recording this video I've just released version 0.18, but I was working on two other plugins which will be shown in this video. I don't think they were quite ready for the version 18, and I didn't want to hold up the version 18 any longer because I tried to release things on like a kind of a 4 to 6 week cycle. It's not a timetable as such, but I don't like to try and accumulate too much stuff into a release. It just makes testing and documenting it difficult. So yes, so version 0.18 is the current version. So I've been working on two plugins that again use the ULA Plus side of things. So you'll need a ZX Uno or hardware on the ZX Spectrum that supports the ULA Plus color palette extensions. So what we've got now, if I go into the browser, and we've got getting a bit of a lag through the capturing my keyboard inputs. Just try and adjust for that. Game. So one of the things you can do with the ULA Plus is that on the ULA Plus Google website, which I will put a link to in the description, there's these sort of tap files which contain sort of palette definitions for games. So you're supposed to load the tape in, the tap file in, which then changes the colour scheme, and then you load your game in. So what I've done is I've created a plugin which kind of uses those tap files, but you can apply them at sort of any point. So if I load Commando, because that's one of the palettes I've got downloaded, if I start that, that's sort of running with the normal palette. So if I go back into the browser with the NMI, and then if I do Shift Q to go to the top, and then I've got this folder here, ULA Plus, which has got a bunch of these files with the ULA extension, and these are just the tap files that you would get from the website. But you can say the ULA file can either be this tap file, which you can get, or it can just be a raw 64 byte color definition for the ULA Plus. So if I select the Commando one, we can see that the browser has applied the colors, and if I quit out of the NMI browser, we've now got a sort of a custom palette, and it's to say any sort of Commodore 64 users should be pretty impressed with that sort of level of brown that's on display. I mean, that's sort of, with Spectrum owners have only dreamed of that sort of level of brown in games, and now it's possible with these ULA Plus palettes. So if I do apologise for my attempt at playing Commando, especially through the video capture device. So if I press J to select joystick, and then Kempston, I think that's what I've got set up, and then S to start the game. Yeah, you see, normally that would be like a kind of a yellow colour, but we've turned into sort of like a more khaki, more sort of browny desert. And as I say, I think my capture card's not doing it massive justice. Then, as I say, as you saw then, when we go back into the NMI, it turns the ULA colours off, and you got a brief glimpse there of the Spectrum colours. But if we go back out again, we're back in the ULA palette. With the existing system, you had to sort of load the colours in first, but because you can do this through the browser now, you can do this at any point. So if I, as I say, we've got a colour palette for Bruce Lee. So if I go back into my snapshots folder, go in here, I've got a snapshot of Bruce Lee, which was sort of saved in game, and again that's using the standard I'm getting beaten up because it's really hard to control this on with the lag. That's a bit better. So if I press F5 to go back into the NMI browser and then navigate back to that folder where my palettes were, games, ULA Plus, and then quit out of the browser. We can see that we've now got a slightly nicer blue there, and what we've done there is we've basically loaded the game and then we've applied the colour palette in. Sort of normally you would have to sort of mess that up. You'd have to load the tag file in first and then load the game in. So just another. So we'll do another. I'm saying loading the snapshot. I have actually saved you from some quite sort of brutal title music. Selected the wrong game there. I'm just going to give a brief detour into the terrifying world of the Bruce Lee Spectrum title music, which is quite, as I say, music concrete almost, isn't it? So it's brutal approach, but as I say, you need to 6-chip when you've got that. So go back into the NMI browser. Just last game, I'll just show for the time being. Just Chucky Egg, and then if we do F5 again, and then go into ULA Plus folder, Chucky Egg, and then quit out of that. Again, we've obviously put it into some sort of Commodore 64 sort of brown mode. So we've entered the world of brown, and the sort of bonus points for anyone who recognises the reference there to sort of mid-90s British satire comedy. Start. Again, this is going to be brief because I'm not good at games and I'm even worse on games through video capture. So there we go. That's the ULA plugin, and that basically lets you apply custom colour palettes to existing Spectrum software. The other thing I've been looking at with the ULA Plus is the support for the extended HAM colour modes. So this is a bit of software trickery that lets you sort of, I think it lets you display 256 colours instead of the normal 64 colour palette on ULA Plus by sort of flicking out or swapping out the colour palette at various points using interrupts, so it gives you the illusion of more colours on screen. So if I go to my screens folder, ULA Plus. So those ones are just like this, the ones I showed you in the last video, which was just the standard spectrum screen using the 64 colour palette that the ULA Plus gives you. But so these files are normally called screen files, but as I say, just to there's so many files now with screen extensions, I just thought, well, I'll call these HAM. So if you will need to rename your files. So there's a HAM plugin. So HAM 256, that's the that's like the demo picture you get with the ZX Uno distribution. That just works with the ULA Plus enabled. For some reason you get a nice border as well. I think that's the side effect of it switching the colours. So if we leave that, then the other one is the HAM 8x1 mode, which uses the timex graphics mode to give the extra colours. So if we do that normally, we're just going to get a garbage picture because I haven't got the timex mode enabled. But if you press Shift C to take you into the ZX Uno configuration plugin, if we enable timex display modes, press enter to apply that, and then so that's the normal demo picture that you get with the for that HAM 8x1 mode. I've also converted, there's a I can not select the previous folder, that would be useful. So there's a couple of there's a tap file you can get which has got like a bunch of these screens in it, and I've basically sort of extracted those out of the tap file and converted them into these HAM files. I think that's from Highlander, I'm not sure, it looks Highlander-esque. That looks like it's a picture from the arcade version of Donkey Kong. That's a soccer ball match. It's a kitten. It's a koala bear. It's a parrot and on possibly a Harvest Festival display table. I think that's the Pet Shop Boys. Not sure. I've not seen the Pet Shop Boys for a while, but that's how I imagine they'd look now. That looks like it's been taken from a Commodore Amiga Deluxe paint. It's the Pharaoh. That's from Monty Python, one of Terry Gilliam animations, I think, by the looks of it. Possibly the TV's Bad for Your Eyes. That's, I don't know, there's some sort of Spanish film poster. Again, that's the picture that I think the test picture for the HAM 8 one that we've had in the other folder. Again, that's just some scenery. That's more scenery. That's a meme by the looks of it. Don't know. Is that some sort of fan art? It looks like Drew Barrymore and a Dalmatian on there. Not sure why they'd be together. I suspect those are the people who did the graphics or are part of the ZX Uno team. I don't know. That's Sir Clive and his good lady wife. I had to sort of check that in. Apparently there's a Daily Mail story about that. It's a British paper which went into quite salacious detail about that, but that's where that picture's from apparently. That's a car, a red car. It looks like it's going quite quickly. It looks like that's from the IT crowd. That looks like that's the Scream. That's a tiger. And that's like a kind of a test card picture, I think. and that's like a kind of a standard picture of a woman that you tend to get in all these sorts of 8-bit computer graphics things. That's another picture of a woman. Looks like it's come from a demo or something. That's that. So those all get displayed, and then there is a program you can get for Windows called Image to ULA Plus. I don't use Windows at the moment. I'm using Linux, so it was a bit of a pain to get running, because the other one I tried, there is a Linux version of a ULA Plus picture converter, but it didn't seem to give particularly good results, so I managed to get this up and running on a virtual machine. So these are some ones I've done just to sort of get a feel for it. So that's a screenshot from the infamous Amiga demo, the Boeing bouncing ball demo. It's that's from the Kefren's demo, Desert Dream on the Amiga. Most of these are Amiga graphics. I thought they'd be good to convert because they're colourful, but they've not got too many colours on. So that's a picture from one of those adverts you used to get on some games. They used to have little adverts at the front of them from little, I like to call them adverts. I don't think they were adverts, but if you weren't paying full price for your games, you used to get little adverts like that at the front of them. So that should be immediately recognisable to any Amiga owners. I think that's possibly I think that's an AGA picture. That's the extended graphics mode on the Amiga. I think that's from the Full Moon demo by Virtual Dreams and Fairlight. But I was just trying to remember demos that had got sort of decent pictures in. So I don't know if it's converted particularly well. And that's TV's Rod Hull, and it is him. But he seems to have got a sideline at the moment selling divMMC devices and various kit for retro computers. So yeah, as I say, apparently people speak quite highly of his divMMC Future, which runs my browser on it. So yeah, so if you're in the market for some hardware, then have a look at the Future was 8-bit and check out Rod Hull on YouTube. So I think that's Rod Hull. I say, why wouldn't it be Rod Hull? I mean, it's a convincing picture, isn't it? So it must be Rod Hull. So there we go. So yeah, those will probably be in the next version of the browser, as I say, version 19. But as I say, there's a couple of issues with the timing of the ham plugin, because I think the code is only timed to work properly on a 48k machine. So I mean, I think the timing on this is 1 to 8k and it looked okay, but sometimes the borders, the colours can be a bit off, and you get a bit of noise and jitter in the picture, so that needs a bit of work on. But as I say, yeah, so that's the ULA plugin and the ham plugin, and they will be in the next test version of the browser. So thanks for watching this video and my ramblings, and basically looking at some slightly odd screens and all that, and I'll see you in the next video hopefully. So bye for now.